Hello, Attactioneers. Welcome to the live cast. I'm your host, Taylor Morrow, joined with my fellow hosts, this guy and that guy. Who are you guys?
I'm this guy, and I am here too, also known as Colin.
Nice.
Isaac, welcome everybody.
Whoa,
I think
Isaac.
everybody knows who we are.
I didn't
this
even
point.
recognize you. What are you talking about? I thought that was like your evil
Buck Stevens.
your evil twin cousin.
Well,
Yeah,
Twitter
Buck.
Twitter needed me to come on and show you phonies how a mustache is, so here I am. And I think you fuckers were right. This feels good. I was wrong. This feels like me.
You heard it here first.
This is it.
We fuckers were right.
So, quick sidebar. I have convinced almost my whole basketball team to grow a mustache for the season. So we're on that train of mustache domination. It's awesome.
Puberty style mustaches all around.
Hey, this is varsity basketball. Some of these guys have legit beards.
That's true. They probably look like men. Like adult men with jobs.
Some of them.
Some of them are.
Mm-hmm. We played this one guy the other day. I thought it was their assistant coach. I'm not kidding. And then he was like doing the layup lines and then played in the game. And I was like, all right, I guess that's the player, not the assistant coach.
Was he their best player?
No, he was not.
So I guess you didn't have to worry about it too much.
Yeah, totally. It was fine.
Nice.
It's in 8th grade junior high sports when you got to be worried about kids with facial hair. You're like, oh, fuck. We're so screwed, And he's just, you're like looking down at your team and you're like, half of these kids are 4'11", and this guy's 6'2", and it has a fucking beard. How is this fair? 8th grade's wild.
Dude. Growth spurts aren't fair. I never really had one, so that's how I feel about it.
I'm still waiting for my second spurt, my late growth spurt.
I was just like a slow, steady grind to average height. Never taller than anybody.
It's all right though. You probably got really used to it. You didn't have like an awkward phase where you didn't know,
That's
what
true.
was what in your body. You
Yeah.
were just very coordinated the whole way.
My bones never hurt. I heard that's a thing that can happen.
My bones never hurt either.
Well, you're just a strong man. I do like to lord it over my wife, though, and tell her that I'm the tallest person in this house, because it's true.
Like when the argument really escalates, that's what you break out.
Every now and then she'll say something like, I'm really glad that you're not like really tall. And I'll be like, you know what? I'm the tallest person in this house.
Yeah.
She thinks it's weird when like a couple is like, or she would think it, she's like, it'd be so
You're
weird.
disproportionate.
You have to like bend over and like,
Totally.
Anyways, we've already gone off the rails. What a great start.
Yeah, it's the live cast.
I was just
baby.
letting you guys peter out there.
I mean, with the energy you brought with your mustache, I don't think I could ever peter out. It's just the dream come true, and the day disappears, I'll be sad. Because I forgot we were gonna do this, and you just showed up, and I was like,
Yeah, you flipped
baby.
your camera on.
Taylor
I
made
lo-
me.
I lost it. Yeah, it was great. It was a great drunken tweet that I'm profiting from so much right now. I think this makes us the most powerful podcast in existence. I mean, I don't even mean flesh and blood. I mean podcasts. We're the most powerful right now at this moment. Starting off winter strong, 3 mustached men about to talk about a kid's game.
Yeah. You looked
16
very
plus,
serious.
baby.
Taylor, you looked very serious as you were proclaiming that and getting more serious.
Yeah. Totally.
So
I'm
to everybody
fucking around.
listening, there's like more of a visual component than usual to this episode. Everybody in the chat, thank you for being here. Thank you for still being here. It's good to see you all. Happy holidays.
Hell yeah.
Heck yeah.
Way to be the real professional here, Isaac. Despite what your facial hair is signaling. If you are just listening, Taylor and I have classic just, mustaches, and Isaac has shown up with just the full handlebar. I'm not sure if it goes
more mustache
down his neck. It looks like it could go down his neck.
No.
It goes a little bit. It goes around the curve. It's not just.
If I had that idea, I would have done that. I just didn't think of it.
So pause the podcast and go onto YouTube so that you can at least look at it for a second so you have the right image in mind. He also has a Christmas tree in shop behind him. So he just brought it today. I'm just like my normal self, and a Dromai shirt. I feel like I didn't do enough other than, set up the stream.
I was excited.
Manuel says, wouldn't miss mustache Xmas. Hope it gets real weird.
It already has. It's gonna be
totally.
Yeah.
Nate wants to know how many cocktails deep are y'all? I am 2 teas deep.
I'm whatever, a quarter inch down.
And then
you got to start off semi-sober because
yeah.
Otherwise by the end it's just, we learned that early on in production, that if you warm up and then try to do a gameplay video or podcast or whatever, it goes great until the last 30 minutes or something, and then you're a little too toasty. So
totally. Okay, a little how the sausage is made here. Last night on Insidious Chill, thank you all for who were there and then who are here tonight.
You're just using this to plug your other shit. I'm just kidding. Keep going. I'm sorry. Keep going.
See, you made my dog mad. Insidious Chill is me and Tommy Fresh's singular podcast that happens once a year, and we review a Christmas movie. Just happened first time this year. Anyway, on that, I had to shout out to Mike Popovich, IP5 Cocktails, had made a special cocktail recipe for that podcast, of White Christmas margarita. So I, of course, had to pre-make one to sample it and make one for my wife. So I had one of those and was feeling pretty good. Then my wife handed me another, craft cider, which are no less than 8%. So I had one of those, and that's like, well, fuck. Now I need another margarita for the show. And I'm not gonna lie, for that first 45 minutes, I was kind of turnt. I was feeling good.
And then what happened?
And then we just knocked it out of the park. And it was a great podcast. And then I got pretty sleepy.
Nice.
And went to bed.
Good job.
Totally. Great story. But I'm just saying, it is possible if you pace yourself.
And then what happened?
It goes margarita, other beverage, margarita. That's the pace you want to go.
I'd be so wasted at that point.
Yeah.
But that's just...
Oh, and I love drinking beer with you. It's lots of fun. Just so you know.
Totally. If anybody has the opportunity to have 2 to 4 beverages with Colin, it's the best time.
Yeah.
Buy this man a drink.
I'll take 1 or 2 and that's it. I know my limit. And it's that few. Although except in Colombia at this wedding I just went to, I drank a whole lot. For some reason, it was not getting me that drunk. Also because of the large amount of pork I ate while drinking as well.
Just soaking it up.
One point they just brought out it was after dinner and we'd been partying for a while. They just brought out trays of food. It was chicharron and blood sausage and all these other things. And I was just hell yeah, dude. Just went for it.
Nice. Tell us about Colombia a little bit.
Yeah. So I was just down in outside Bogota in a smaller area. We stayed in Cajica, and then Wedding was in Sopo, I think it was called. They're they're like, I think they're cities. I'm not sure. The addresses were a little weird, so it was hard for me to understand. But one of my wife's very good friends from school got married. She's Colombian, and so we were down there. It was pretty awesome. Very cool country. You kind of feel like you're in the jungle no matter where you are, which was kind of cool. Just very lush green trees all around. Bogota, 8,000 feet, which I did not know until about a day before I went there. So very high elevation, which I didn't feel too much, probably thanks to the fact that I've been running a lot since, what was it, Fab Fitness Challenge. Been keeping that up, so remarkably did okay. And I thought I would get a lot more drunk, because usually you drink it at altitude. It hits you pretty hard, but I'm not sure. They have like a national drink called aguardientes, which is like a anise flavored liqueur, and I'm not sure what the alcohol percentage is on there. I don't think it's very high. I don't like anise that much, but I was there and they were giving it out, so I drank a lot of it. But they just had, this is the best part, they just had trays. Like, there wasn't a bar. They just had dude with trays, and they had like scotch on the, and they'd be like, would you like, I mean, at first they were like putting ice in it if you asked, but then it was just scotch on the rocks, and then shots of aguardiente, and then mojitos. And that was it. And then you just like grab your scotch and get on the dance floor and take a shot. And like, they just came around all night. And at the very end of the night, they came around with like this stew, which I think saved the life of several people who were very drunk. But yeah, we danced all night. I didn't know, they played some like hits, a little bit of, Bad Bunny and J Balvin, who is also Colombian. So, some of those songs I did know, but a lot of it was not very familiar with, but we had such a blast. And then we went to go to Medellin, which is like an hour flight away. And then my wife got COVID, and we spent the rest of our trip in a hotel room, hanging out, not getting anyone else sick. Luckily, she was, she's fine. She, didn't have it too bad, but spent a lot of time just watching TV in a hotel room instead of being on vacation. Well, it was a different kind of vacation, but, we're back now, and yeah, it was a great trip. So if you can make it out there, Medellin was beautiful. That one was like, felt like lush jungle. Like, just driving around. Parts of it kind of reminded of Hawaii, but it's like in this valley. There's this big ass valley, and like the city just like emanates from the center all the way up the hills. Very beautiful. A lot of bad reputation due to Pablo Escobar, but it's a fairly safe place. I felt, there was no point where I felt very uncomfortable or anything. I don't speak a lot of Spanish, so that's always just kind of puts you on edge, because you're like, I don't understand what's going on around me. But luckily, we had some help, and between Jess and I, we can carry one conversation with somebody in Spanish. And
Nice.
We had a great time.
Good teamwork.
Yeah, despite getting COVID, it still sounds like an awesome time.
It was really good. We had some good moments. Had a really funny drive. Like, they canceled our flight to Medellin and then rebooked it. And they're like, oh, you can choose what flight you want to be on. And it was like the only choice was like 2 hours earlier, and we had to leave right away for the airport. So we just booked it downstairs, got in an Uber, which I guess technically are illegal, but everyone uses them anyways. And our Uber driver was so nice. We were carrying on a conversation, and I was like, oh, they canceled our flight and we're trying to get there. I was like, don't worry about that. It's not your problem. He was like, you're in my car. This is your car. It's my problem. And I was like, fuck yeah, dude. And he was like, put on your seatbelts. I was like, please, con cuidado, safety. Let's go. It was fun. Good time. Nice to go on like a real trip. I haven't done like a trip like that in a while, so.
Cool.
Yeah, good to be back. What'd you guys do?
Go ahead, Isaac. I've had some stories. What have you been up to, Isaac?
Nothing as exciting as that. The last month or two, I've been doing a great many small thing or, you know, like many things each day. Um, but I have not been vacationing that much. I don't know. It's like a lot. Um, but nothing in particular is super exciting. I'll let you go ahead, Taylor. You said you had some stories.
No, I said I've told stories
Oh,
already,
I gotcha.
and they're probably tired of hearing from me.
Do you,
No, the only thing happening in my life is basketball season, basically, which is going great and has given me this kind of nice smoky after hours voice going on right now. So,
Oh yeah, I was supposed to scream at children more so I
oh
could
yeah,
meet you there. I forgot.
you could
Fuck.
do it right now. Wait.
yeah. No,
Um,
yeah.
I did want to answer. Damon said, "When is Isaac going to start playing Lexi again?" I did want to answer that I am tempted because of um shit. Now I'm off the rails. But the drill shot and heat seeker are actually pretty cool additions to Lexi.
Mhm.
So thanks, Damon. I am tempted. I really want some tools for Ranger that are like not just more things for what she does. You know what I mean? Like she's good against aggro. It's really flipping hard into, aggro old him or illusionist or something. Like it would be nice to have. I know some classes are just what they are kind of in their role, but we all kind of look for tools like outside the box. Um, but probably going to be good. All
Well,
right, moving on. I just wanted to answer that because it got me excited.
there might be some Ranger updates in our next set.
I think there will be.
Baby.
Totally. Should we get into some flesh and blood talk? We have some shout outs here that we could get into, and then we can get down on some flesh and blood. So
I
let's do
love
some shout
flesh
outs.
and I love blood. So
Sure. Yeah, I'll go first since you all asked. I wanted to shout out TJ Stoddard on Facebook, of all places, actually. But it's awesome. He's making this whole class, like a pirate class for Flesh and Blood, and regularly posts new cards, like specializations, just like skeleton pirate ally or whatever. And like, but it's like all in. There's artwork for him. I don't know if he made it or like found it somewhere, but they're like real cards for a fully fleshed out damn it. I was trying not to do that. A fully fleshed out class. And it's like awesome. It's like an awesome side project hobby thing that he's been sharing and stuff. So
Sick. Anybody in the
it's
chat,
impressive.
go find that and post it so everybody can see. Patrick, if you're out there.
yeah, send me a
You're,
link. I'll put it in our description. That sounds really fun.
yeah.
Okay. I'll try to do it while you're doing your shout out here.
I think everybody loves a pirate. Yeah, I'll do a quick shout out to good friend of the show, Justin Lewog, over there at Arcane Games and Events. Do just like a little bit of a plug inside the shout out for the AGE Open Series starting January 7th. This is going to be a monthly series of 1K events in Southern California that yours truly will be commentating and helping with the stream. And yeah, we're doing, it looks like, I got the schedule up here right now. Once a month, 1K tournament. It'll also be like a point system. So as you win and do well, you'll earn points. And then there's going to be like a players championship, which we're hoping to make like a really cool weekend event where, we all go to a place and stream games and have a good time. So check that out over at age.events. If you're in the Southern California area and you want to come, tickets are on sale on the website. And otherwise, we will be streaming over on their YouTube channel. So shout out to Justin, just doing great work out here. Really proud of him and just the initiative to just make something a little bit different for us, and not like a little bit more consistency too. It's gonna be like this happens every month. It's coming up. If you can't make these other events that are in different areas, and you're in the area, we can just play this one, and it should be really good. I mean, we do have great players out here, so yeah, should be a lot of fun. I'll be promoting it a lot, so you guys will hear about it. But hopefully, we'll get these other dudes down here to do some commentating as well.
Sweet.
So yeah, shout out to Justin and AGE.
Yeah, you guys in SoCal are very lucky to have Justin. I'm pretty jealous of your organized play scene down there. It's got a lot going on.
It's
Totally does. Or like one local shop that runs Flesh and Blood events doesn't even let us know when they're going to be closed. So then you show up for Armory and you're like, "Is the shop open today?" "Oh no, I'm not opening it today." "Oh, cool. Thanks." So,
dude, it's a shop. You should open it. Tragic.
wild. My shout out goes to Team Covenant. So, end of an era, the COVID 5 day a week stream is coming to an end. Pretty wild. It was like a big part of my year in 2020 and is a big reason why we're all into Flesh and Blood and have this podcast. So big shout out to them to being just kind of a big influence in a lot of people's lives. And I hope that their next chapter in their store and company's life, I guess, is just as great as the previous ones have been, and they just keep to the moon. So shout out to those two fine gentlemen who are the face of the company and everybody else who works there.
Yeah, hell yeah. I checked out some of the stream today, feeling a bit nostalgic. I posted a long thing in there in Discord just because they are the reason I got into Flesh and Blood, and I can like literally pinpoint that to my life changing an incredible amount. So means a lot to me, and I totally get it because I haven't been able to watch their stream either, and I think that's kind of where a lot of people are at. So excited to see what they do next. Always cheering for them, and I will be trying to get to Tulsa for that store opening whenever that happens. So
Same.
yeah,
I'll pick you up on the way, bro.
We'll make a trip out of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to Zach and Steven. Great guys. Thanks for everything.
Nice. Is it back to me?
Back to you.
I agree. I really love, I don't watch like probably most of their live streams, but I love tuning into things that interest me or, like fun ones that come along. It's very enjoyable, like long form, casual, like stuff. Everything else is really in your face. So I do very much enjoy their stream.
Yeah.
My second shout out is just to the card guys. I've played against Nathan in person, and I've played against them on Talishar, and just every interaction I have with them is just they're like the nicest guys to play against, and it's just really nice to have like a competitive team or famous players or whatever that every time you play against them, they're just really friendly, and it's I guess whenever I play against them, I'm just reminded how nice it is to play this game and how fun the community is. So thanks. See you next time.
Nice. Yeah, I guess the last one is mine, but probably from all of us. Shout out to Mr. Tommy Fresh, or AKA Tommy Christmas, for the very nice Christmas card he sent to us. He like hit me up. He's like, "Hey, what's your address?" I was like, "Oh, cool. What's he sending me?" And he sent me a Christmas thing. I was like, "That's just nice. I appreciate that." There's two kinds of people in this world: people who make Christmas cards and send them out, and people who don't. And I'm definitely in the latter group, but I do appreciate everyone who does send them. It's a thoughtful thing, and it's nice to see. So, just a nice person to know. Happy to know them.
Yep, I agree. I got a Christmas card as well, and it really made me smile.
Yeah, my wife.
Yeah, it
was
was
like,
like
"Who is this?"
yeah, it's like a real Christmas card too, not like a fakey flesh and blood one,
Yeah,
which was not that flesh and blood Christmas cards would be fakies, but it was like one he's sending to his like grandmother
yeah.
as well as us. So hell yeah. Shout out to Tommy Christmas. Loved it. Thank you.
Tight.
Thank you, Tommy Christmas. It's very much appreciated.
You can only talk like that from now on.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, Tommy Christmas.
Hell yeah, brother. Can we just sit here for like 5 minutes and keep doing that? Hell yeah. And someone can clap. It's just us.
My next shout out is just to Marcus from Singapore. I don't know if you're listening or whatever, but brand new player I met on Talishar and was just the nicest person again. Like, wanted to chat throughout the game, checking out our podcast, like just through and through, like hung out afterwards, chatted a bunch, and like, there's the salty log side of things, and then there's the like Marcus from Singapore side of things. So it was great. What's up, Marcus? Hope you're doing great.
Hell yeah, Marcus.
Nice.
Keep it up. Welcome to the Fab community.
Heck yeah. Quick question. Are y'all playing Marvel Snap? Who's playing Marvel Snap in chat? It's like a great holiday activity.
I just started.
Awesome.
I've been playing a lot of it.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe you can. Sorry to derail your.
No.
But maybe you can help. So like, I think it's great. Really, I really like it. But I'm like level 40 something now, and I don't understand like what I'm playing for. Like I unlock characters really slowly, and like each match you just get like a few crystals and a third of a level, and you don't unlock a character, and it just feels like now I'm like, well, maybe after 500 more matches, I'll have enough characters to like build a new archetype or something. But at the moment, it's just like, that was fun and cool, but now I'm like, feel like it's kind of like plateaued. Did that happen to anybody else? Or am I like doing something wrong? I also didn't like deep dive into learning what to do and all that. I just kind of
Totally.
ran with it.
So, do you know what your collection level is?
No.
Okay, so that's the thing you got to beef up. So, the like gameplay loop is like, so you want to try to like obviously win cubes, right? And every time you like win cubes, you get to rank up, right? So level 100 infinite is what is like the status symbol. Then you also get boosters from your wins. You get, I think, a little bit more boosters, and then you can upgrade cards so they look cooler. And as you upgrade cards, that upgrades your collection level. I hate explaining this type of bullshit, but
well, it just seems like busy work, like not, I don't know.
Yeah, totally. So as your collection level goes up, that's where you get new cards. And
No, I understand all that. It's just like not happening.
Yeah.
Or happening really slow. It's like it happens so slowly that I'm unable to like explore new archetypes or like have fun. You know what I mean?
You
Because
got
it's like
this is what you got to do. You go to the
there's a
store.
second. Yep.
You get your free credits every like day or couple hours. I think it's every hours or every
I think it's
12 hours or
Yeah, it's twice a day. Yeah.
and then you upgrade cards in the store where it lets you kind of jump over the normal way of upgrading cards. So you can just use credits to upgrade cards, and that boosts your collection level, which will get you more cards and often more credits. And so it's like you got to do that consistently to like really speed it up, and then also the like season quests of like doing specific things um, is like another good way of unlocking more credits and stuff, because that's really like the main thing. And once you get to a certain level, you start, you're whenever you upgrade a card, you're upgrading it like you get like 6 levels on your collection
or 10
level. So you start like scaling a little faster. So you're kind of low right now, so you need to kind of like push past that to get to a better spot, I think.
My collection's 148.
That's pretty low.
You're getting there. I think it'll speed up.
I'm almost.
I'm doing it. It just doesn't go up very quickly, because you only have so many gems or what. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
I mean,
it was really fun. It just like, was really fun, and then kind of.
It's all about getting credits. That's what it's all about, because then that allows you for like every 5 hours to upgrade your cards and get more cards and stuff. I think I'm almost at 1,000 for my collection level.
Nice.
Totally. I like to save them and then have a bunch of credits and then spend it all on, all of these cards and stuff,
Big
which is really
hit
fun.
all at once.
Yeah, totally. Just like I don't.
All day, I'm just like boom, boom, boom.
Nice. That's also fun too. I just would rather play more now. I'm playing. So just to talk about this, because I feel like I didn't see any. I came up with this idea on my own, and I'm sure somebody else has, but I don't like net deck like I do as much in Flesh and Blood or whatever. But I'm playing like Doctor Doom control deck, which is pretty sick, with like Storm and Magneto. So the basic idea is I try to like lock down some locations, like you can't play more cards there, or I make it like I hit you with Shang-Chi, which is like the best card. Like if you play too much of a powerful card, I just freaking murder it, or hit you with Enchantress or whatever. And then you play Doctor Doom, and he puts Doom bots at the locations that you can no longer play cards at, and you kind of eke out little wins that way. And that so far has been my favorite deck I have played.
Nice. I've been doing. I've got 2 I like. I have one I call D&D, which is like discard and destroy deck.
Oh yeah, that one's
like
great.
Carnage and Bucky that turns into Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you have Apocalypse, you discard that, and he keeps like bumping up in power. And I also got the Quinn, not the Quinjet, but it's like the Quinn, whatever, like
the carrier.
The carrier, yeah. And if you discard that, you get 3 random cards, which is just fun. So I've been doing that. And then I have like an Odin reveal deck that tries to play all the on reveals to like do that, which I think are like common ones.
That's my favorite. I have that card.
Yeah, Odin's fun. And it's like the deck building is easy. You're just like, okay, filter all the on reveals, and I'll just throw all these in here. I don't fucking care. Like, I've got enough 1s, 2s, 3,
Nice cost curve.
Yeah, there's a lot to it that's fun. I know there's some crazy combos. I just don't care enough to like try to figure them out. And mostly what I do is like, oh, what's like the location of like the day that's like, or the week that's really hot, and you're like, okay, what can I build that like exploits the shit out of that? So I have one that I called I Like to Move It, and it was all about moving, because I think the location was the Bifrost that moves everybody. So I had like Craven and the Vulture. It was just like these cards that just like boost up as you move shit around. And you just have these like crazy swings at the end. Sometimes you lose hard, but other times you're just like, I just like destroyed this person out of nowhere.
Totally. Yeah. I originally in this game, I was like, wow, there's fucking too much RNG with the like location reveals, and I don't know what my opponents are doing. And
switch hands at round 6. How am I supposed to plan for that?
Totally. Yeah, I was like, this is upsetting. But then I kind of like took it a bit more at face value and was like, if my deck is too specific, like my Doctor Doom control deck, like I can't switch hands because my cards have no synergy. Just like on their own, they're kind of like underpowered. So I just retreat.
Yeah.
you know, retreating more has like upped my enjoyment of that game. Um, and oh man, well, no, you can't play against other people yet. So it's always randos, which is
Or bots. Hard to tell
or
sometimes.
yeah, totally. I feel like if I lose three in a row, they put me up against a bot because I'm like, oh fuck, I'm gonna win or I'm gonna lose, and I'm like, why'd they play that there? They're only winning this one location. Okay, I'm just easy 8 cubes here. Um,
Yeah. Snap, snap, snap.
yeah, totally. And then that has been the other thing has been like you said, calling playing for the like location that comes up more often, making sure I'm playing a deck that exploits that, like, or has some sort of tweak. Like right now, for me, it's what is it? Vormir. So the first card you play there is destroyed.
Mm.
So like I'll wait until I have like 4 or 3 at minimum cards out, and then I'll play Nova there, and then it buffs all my cards, and that's like a great, I think, way to use that one location.
Mm-hmm.
So now that I've started doing those things, it's been way more enjoyable for me.
I think for me, so this is all noob stuff, sorry, but my best
Totally.
deck right now is just like a value deck. Like my favorite one's the Odin reveal deck, but the best deck it just has all the best cards, which
Mhm.
is like fairly boring. I play the Odin one more. But my favorite combo I've found was just if you there's a location that on reveals happen twice. So if you like
Yeah,
Ironheart or
yeah.
White Tiger or
Tiger.
Mm,
whatever,
White
and then
Tiger,
play
yeah.
Odin on them,
Mm-hmm.
it like it doesn't filter it. It like quadruple happens or
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Yeah,
Or like 8 times happens or whatever. You
Yeah.
know, it's
yeah.
like the maximum possible, which seems pretty broken, but that
Yeah.
was kind of fun. I was like, well, let's just see if this works. And
Yeah,
Totally.
that's kind of
Yeah.
the
yeah.
fun thing about the game is that it's like, yeah, break me, you know?
Yeah. I think the fact that they're like 3 minutes games, there's very low stakes. Like it can be kind of broken. I know they've been doing some patches. I don't really pay attention to what they've changed, but
Yeah,
um,
me neither.
I think that's the fun of it. Is you're just like, whatever. I'm just gonna throw these cards together and play, and
Hmm.
and then you see someone else do something. You're like, whoa, that's cool. And then you get
Yeah,
that card, and you're like, I'm gonna do that thing in this deck now. And
yeah.
it's
I
been
tried. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, I was gonna say it's just been like a fun little like side game to have,
Yeah,
and
agreed. It doesn't ask a ton of me, and I don't always have to play it, which is really nice. Um, the Oh, I forget what the two things I was going to say. Well, I tried an Agatha Harkless deck where she's like a 6 with 14 power and she just plays your cards for you, which is pretty funny. And so I tried to combo that with Jubilee and having only 6 power or like a bunch of the big fellers in there. So like Jubilee like is a 4 for 1, but will randomly play a card out of your deck. So then all of a sudden you have like she brings in Magneto, and now it's like at that location you have 13 power out of nowhere. And then Agatha is like a 14, so she just plays herself on the 6th turn always. But it like she loses her AI is not great. She like loses you games. You're like, no, you should have played this other. You should have played Doctor Doom here, you
no,
idiot.
Agatha, no.
Yeah, totally. But it's pretty funny.
Yeah. Nate is right. We are the best Marvel Snap podcast now as well. I think
Welcome to the Snap Action podcast.
I say the last thing I'll say
Snaption podcast.
Yeah.
is I got a new iPhone and I turned on like the high quality graphics and the 60
Yeah.
frames per second on it, and it looks so good. I was like,
It looks crazy
holy
good.
shit, this is like very nice looking, and it was a whole other like dopamine rush of like, wow, this is pretty sweet. So
Yeah, playing it on a tablet is sick. I have the Z Fold 4 which
Oh,
is
do you
like a
play in
miniature.
unfolded mode?
Yeah, it's
Nice.
so good. It's like one of the reasons I play that game is because it's pretty sick on the phone.
Nice.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
awesome. Snap Corner.
Yeah, little snap corner. What about Flesh and Blood? That's a game. Uh, I don't
That our
know.
whole podcast is based on.
That our
Yeah.
whole podcast. I haven't played a lot lately. I played a bunch of Arachne when Dynasty came out, and then work got crazy, and then I
Hmm.
went on vacation. Um, and when I was stuck in the hotel, I could have just played a bunch of Talishar, but I decided not to, and just you know downloaded Knights of the Old Republic on my iPad and played that instead, which was
Hell yeah, that's
which
pretty
was
Nice.
good.
which was
I've done
pretty
that on
dope.
my tablet also. It's pretty fun.
I was like, I need just like an RPG game. Like I just need something with a story and run around and level up.
Totally. Sometimes you need to have an adventure.
Yeah.
As much as we like these games, like they give you no sense of adventure. You know what I mean? You have no like plot arc or journey or what, it's just like very in the moment. Also, Manuel is sold.
Yeah. All right. Get that Marvel Snap sponsorship money.
Hell
Yep.
yeah.
One down, 8
Yeah.
million to go.
Thanks for reminding me. I've been playing because I'm on vacation right now. Uh, I've been playing Baldur's Gate 3, which I'm a huge Baldur's Gate fan. Baldur's Gate 3 is still in early access, but it's supposed to be released finally in August. So I'm like, all right, I'll dip in and see what it's like.
Next
So
year,
fun.
August.
Yeah.
Jesus, it's been in
Yeah.
open beta or whatever for so long.
For so long, like 3 years. I don't even know. So it's pretty close to being finished right now. It's still like obviously rough in parts and doesn't have the polish, but what has been really nice about that is A, it's Dungeons and Dragons, and B, it's not like a made up game system I have to learn. I already know how to play Dungeons and Dragons, so it's been really easy to pop in and play it and explore it, and I don't have to worry about like what are the rules? What's armor class? Or I don't know what spells to pick, you know? I just going with my warlock. I hex you, then I hit you with freaking whatever it's called, the spell that does stuff. Eldritch Blast, and you're hexed, and it's great. I'm having a great time.
Nice. Yeah, I want to check that out. They this from the people who did Divinity 2, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Which was so
it's
dope and like
yeah.
but there was so much you could do in it that I felt like everything I was
Mhm.
doing was not cool enough because I knew there was probably a smarter way of doing it. I would have been like, "Oh, if I like dump this barrel on them and then like electrocute the
Yeah,
water and then start a fire over here and teleport them into the fire." It's just like I'm just standing there like hitting them and I'm just like I'm just not smart enough to be really creative at this game, I guess. But they I enjoy what they do with like story and like their characters are
hmm,
really interesting. So I'm excited to check that one out eventually. I'm not a big release game thing cuz it's like I want the game when it's done. But I also just
totally fair.
it's just like wild that they're just like 3 years in it. People have been like there's going to be like a solve for everything once this game comes out immediately.
Well,
But
it's like I think it's only the first chapter or something like that, so it's
oh
not a
really? Okay.
huge chunk of the game.
Okay.
Yeah,
I thought it was
that's
like the whole
available in
thing.
early access. Yeah, it's not the whole thing.
Good to
Um,
know.
totally.
I've been running a second playthrough of Elden Ring,
Nice.
Nice.
which I thought would be like
Like New Game Plus
hard. Yeah.
or okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it would be hard, but it's not. It's like it's a victory lap, right? It's just it's really fun actually because you're already powerful and things get harder, but not to the like to match you or whatever. So you can kind of like sprint through and like crush bosses. I mean, there's some parts that are like challenging enough, but I found that in kind of stark contrast to the like in a good way, but the slog that was the original playthrough and like finding everything and like exploring and just the epic journey that was. it's like pretty fun to like just kind of run up to the next boss and then fight him and like make progress a little bit faster. So
Mm.
it
Nice.
hasn't been the experience I expected, but it's definitely like pretty fun. Um, I haven't had enough time, like I haven't beaten it again or anything, and I've been kind of in and out, but it's pretty cool. I'm using the Star Scourge great swords, which are essentially dual wielded great swords because I never play strength build, so I thought I'd try that. And they have this like gravity aura special followed up by a slam, which is insane. And then there's a this is just for the people who follow along because last time I brought it up, I had a lot of questions. But then there's these incantations that scale off of strength as well. So you just like summon and like hurl a boulder, which is pretty fun.
Nice.
So you can do these like dual wield great sword aura thing, smashing, and then you have this like ranged rock throw, which like just throwing a boulder at things is pretty fun. So I've been enjoying this new class and this new like easier playthrough. It's been pretty enjoyable. I would recommend it to anybody who was like, nah, I played it once or whatever. It's like even if you don't finish the second playthrough, it's just pretty cool to like jump in again for an exciting round two.
Mm. Nice.
That's my video game update.
I had to. I'll go back to Elden Ring eventually, but I respect and I really didn't like the style of build I went into. Classic thing where I found a thing online and thought it was cool, and then realized that that's not
Is
at all
rock.
how I play. Uh, but yeah, it's I replayed God of War, the first PS4, you know,
Nice.
one that the Ragnarok sequel just came out. But I couldn't afford to buy the sequel, so I was like, well, I'll just play the first one because that was an amazing game. And I also just
Does it
needed
hold up?
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Oh, sick.
It's just like, I mean, your son is annoying sometimes, and then there's that bit where he gets like really annoying, but he gets better.
Classic sons.
You know, I mean, he's also like a neglectful and emotionally stunted father, so it's it's a hard thing, but
Totally.
yeah, just the gameplay is good, the combat's good, your axe is dope. I was like, work was so crazy. I was like, I just need to like smash a bunch of things, and that took care of it. And I just kind of breezed through that and beat it. So I'm excited to try out the sequel soon.
Sick.
Yeah.
Nice.
Been a
Good
lot of
video game updates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also bought Dwarf Fortress. If anybody's into that, hit me up because I'm lost and confused. But it's like, I don't know do you guys know what Dwarf Fortress is?
Yeah, I do.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, never heard of it.
It was like this like open source like sim civilization kind of game where you build like a giant dwarf fortress in a mountain, but like the simulation was like intensely accurate, but it used to be all ASCII art because it was open source, but it had a huge following for a long time, and they just built like a new version of it for like, you know, Steam basically. And so there's art and you have little dwarves, and you know, it's like something a regular person would identify as a video game before it looked like kind of insanity. But these crazy things happen where, like, I don't know, I was reading a story where like this beer spilled or something, like something rotted and the beer spilled and these cats got all drunk and they started a fire or something. Like, it's like these crazy things can happen because like the simulation is built that way. And there's like no purpose to the game other than to just like build your giant dwarf fortress and try to survive as long as possible, and then you'll probably all die eventually. But yeah, it's interesting.
Sweet.
Another game where I'm like, I'm sure there's a lot I could do and learn, and I feel like I'm not smart enough to figure it out yet. But you know me, still intrigued by it.
Cool. Great video game update. I loved it. Let's talk some flesh and blood now. So I think the idea of this podcast was we wanted to talk about what we wanted to do in the future for our like content creation or personal playing or etc.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
we're not looking back, we're looking forward. And
Hell
also,
yeah.
this is kind of like a team meeting that everyone else can watch as we discuss ideas for what we could do next year.
Yeah. So if you guys have any feedback, what's up? What's up, Tommy Christmas?
Tommy
What's
Christmas.
up, Tommy Christmas?
Hey,
Hell
Tommy
yeah.
Christmas.
Um, so if you guys have any input into, what we should put our energy into in the future, let us know.
Absolutely, yeah. In the chat, in the comments, email,
Yeah.
tweet.
Call me up.
You need a mustache ride? Yeah, you call Isaac.
Isaac's got his Craigslist ad, and he's ready to answer.
Times are tough, okay? And I like it, maybe.
You gotta do what you love, man. But yeah, totally. I think, there's been a lot of growth. We've tried out different things in the past year. And I think, I'm curious, like, what you guys want to do more of. I know, like, what I want to do, and it's a lot of the same stuff. Also, I think personally, like, streaming, some stuff has been fun.
Yeah.
Try to get Isaac up and going with streaming, but his computer and or internet connection could not handle it. But he did pump out those videos all on his own, which I was very proud of you. Although you did release them all at the same time, like space them out a bit.
I thought I was gonna make more, but then I ran out of time.
Yeah, that's why.
Also, little rant. It's really flipping hard to make those videos because you like sign into Talishar, right? And so first of all, you want a good informative game, right? So if you like, I blew out an Arachne 36-0 or whatever, so scrap that. And then like you'll be playing a great game, and then it'll be against Reinar, and then it'll be, and then they'll just like disconnect at 11 life or whatever, and you're like, well, fuck, scrap that. And then you'll tune in again and you'll play Azalea or something. And you're like, God damn it, this is a good matchup for me. And scrap that, So for every video I flip and make, there's like many more.
5 others that you had to trash.
Yeah, totally. So that's kind of why I ran out of time. Was it actually took a bit to get that going.
That's fair. That's fair.
But good companions to the deck tech, I think.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so I mean, I think personally that's something I want to do. I mean, speaking of video game stuff, I'm like, I'm also thinking of like other little segments for the podcast, or even I guess we could add segments to the reaction step. But I mean, games are games, and I think I'd be down to chat more about video games we're doing and spending time with, and sharing that with people.
Let's take these one at a time.
Oh, I am.
So we'll put a pin in that. And so as far as gameplay goes, we could have more volume of gameplay. We could have specific guests on. We could talk about the games afterwards with said guests. We could produce our own, like a game with commentary. Does anybody have any input, like you two or anybody in the chat, as to what you'd like to see out of us, right? Because do you want just volumes of gameplay, or do you want like again, like a game, like a good gameplay video with like commentary overwords talking about lines, or do you want to see guests? Like what would you like to see?
Yeah, we tried that. We had the idea to get guests on, have a live gameplay and a like live chat afterwards, which we did with Zane. Shout out to Zane. And I think it went pretty well. We just like lost steam on trying to get people to play and and producing that sort of thing, which I still think is a pretty good idea, so I would be into trying that again. Or I think I also am on the streaming boat with Colin. That's something I would like to try to do once basketball's over, like once a week, like on Sunday or something like that. Just stream for a couple of hours and see what's happening on Talishar or something like that. I also do like the idea of um, Isaac because we live in actual proximity to one another. We can do IRL gameplay and commentate over it, which we have done a little bit in the past, but haven't done it hardly at all. So that's where those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I think I think some more commentary stuff would be a lot of fun. I think it kind of combines some stuff I would like to do personally in my own playing to be able to go back and like
Hmm.
discuss things and kind of uh, think about where where you could have tried something else or analyze how things played out, and like being able to do that I think would be beneficial to myself, and I think other people watching it like also benefit from that kind of like you know ponderous discussion of like different lines and like but no, going back with like the information and having like I think if we do it on Talishar we can do the commentator mode where you see everything, which like would be cool
Hmm.
to be able to look at that and say like, oh, okay, like I was worried about this, but I wasn't paying, wasn't thinking about this, and then I got caught out here. So that's something I think would be a lot of fun to do, and also, I mean, rather than like worrying about the amount that we're doing it, I think we're all fairly busy people sometimes, so we can't just uh, crank out all the videos. But it definitely would be interesting to try to do that on a more regular basis.
Yeah.
It sounds like, thanks, chat. It sounds like commentary would be desirable. Yeah, and sometimes we get more busy or less busy, but it's just about where we put our energy, right? Like that's what I
Hmm.
meant. Do we just want volumes of gameplay videos? Do we want live streams, or do we want, less, um, you know, commentary videos that are more informative or whatnot? But yeah, my laptop won't OBS and webcam stream to YouTube while playing Talishar, unfortunately. So someday when I upgrade and that's my full-time job is just streaming for people,
I mean,
I'll
With
get
a mustache
a
like that, you're gonna be famous in no time.
yeah, we're really gonna start the OnlyFans. That's just a disguised GoFundMe to get Isaac a beefier computer.
yeah. I'm just
Hmm.
doing this to put myself through streaming school.
Look, man, sex work is work.
Hell yeah.
No shame. I think that sounds great. I would love to do that. I think I learn a lot when you guys talk about games like that. I think I would learn a lot looking at my own games in that way. So I think that's a great way of kind of, looking at a way to improve our own playing as well as doing something and sharing that with like other people. So we'll do that. Oh my god, my dog is here, and she just opened the door and left.
Yeah,
My
you
door's
shut this
cracked too
door.
for my dog to come in, but it's just probably too much
Excuse
fun.
me.
My dogs are sleeping.
I'm attached to the computer.
That
Um,
was funny. Didn't make it.
Hayden does have a good point that there's a hole to fill in streaming schedules because Team Covenant is stepping back. So that does sound that is good. I hope Colin didn't break any something.
I should have just taken my headphones off. Why didn't I take my headphones off?
I don't know, just in case you miss out. I wanted to circle
Yeah.
back to what Colin was saying about segments. I think that is an area of our like regular podcast we could beef up and make better or more entertaining because the one that keeps going is like basically pick pass pray. And even that for me personally gets a little stale, especially when set releases are not always draftable and they're like so far apart that I lose kind of inspiration. So if that was like a less regular segment and we could fill that with, you know, with whatever Collins board game from the closet super review or uh, video game talk or something like that. My idea was to start calling the signature segments like our extra action point or something corny like that. And the extra action point is you just get to uh,
Blink.
talk talk about whatever you want, basically, you know, but in a like, structured manner. That makes sense.
Yeah, sounds good. So for the record, I always like pick, pass, pray, but I'm on
Oh,
the
good.
other end of it, and my brain just likes a puzzle, you know. So
Yeah.
I never grow bored of choosing which card to pick. I really like draft. And yeah, sounds good. So let's talk about chat, please, if you have any ideas that we can just steal and then use to further our success.
Or think back
That's
to like the one-off segments that we've kind of done here and there, like the like the flavor game, the flavor text
Yeah.
game, and then God, I can't remember. There's a couple that you've done like kind of
It was what
intermittently.
flavor is it? And by the numbers, I did also, um,
But
right.
and
So
just the quizzes basically is what I've come up with.
right. So we could just pick a couple segments for the end of each episode, irregardless of what they are.
Or we can rotate a different segment every episode. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the same thing. Yep.
No, I thought you meant have a couple to have at the end. See, these are how our production meetings 100% go. Like multiple as in a couple at the end, not uh, the way I phrased it. That's all. That's why I was getting clarification.
Oh yeah, I meant one or two, not only just one. Like I meant so at the end of our episode we could have whatever segment or segments we are
Totally.
excited to do or are pertinent or we have on deck or are ready for. Is that more clear?
Yeah, totally. Sounds great.
All right.
On board with that 100%.
yeah, I mean, I'm in for a board game segment where I just talk about some board game, hopefully that I've
Totally.
played, because my shelf of not shame but potential, my shelf of potential games that I have yet to experience has increased over the years that I've been
Great.
playing Flesh and Blood and not so many other board games. But I got some good gamers at my job now, so you know,
Ooh, that's nice.
shout out to Elliot, who doesn't watch the show or play Flesh and Blood, but loves other board games and has a sweet board
Sweet.
game table.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm super into that. I think that's like you can once a month just record your own segment and then it'll be like and then here's a board game from the closet with Colin and then you talk for 20 minutes or whatever and then at the end we go, wow, great job, Colin, that was super cool, or
Even if
something
it
like
was
Or I
that.
don't
bad.
know about that game.
Yeah, sounds terrible, you're fired.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Perfect.
think that would be really cool and would definitely beef up the board game from the closet because I know a lot of people really like that segment and I would like to keep that alive. But I have moved on from. I have now my board game collection is like fairly curated and gets rotated like the games I play. Like I don't add to it really now because I'm like, well, these are just like really great games that I really love. So I'm just gonna not buy anymore because I have to buy Flesh and Blood cards. um, so so my list of things that I can endorse has dwindled now after 2 years. So So yeah, so having an extra input would be great. Which I did play Mystic Vale the other night on Monday, and it was awesome. And I freaking slaughtered everybody. That's truly the game I'm the best at in the whole world is Mystic Vale. I'm so good at it. It's so
It's
awesome.
stupid. Don't play with Taylor and Maria
Yeah,
because they're like
don't play with me.
they're like
It's
well
not
rehearsed
fun.
experts who have like broken the game and played many times. And you're like, oh, this is cool. Oh, and this mechanic. Oh, this is cool. And they're like just like over their like machines building their game breaking combo, and
Totally.
you're just playing
my
a
deck-
different game.
Yeah, my deck, I drew the whole thing every turn and just had basically infinite resources and bought whatever cards
Doesn't
I
sound
wanted.
like a good game.
It was incredible. I never had such a good deck.
That's so funny. Hell yeah.
Totally. If you don't know what Mystic Vale is, go back and figure out which episode we talked about it on.
Episode no.
Yeah,
It's
I don't
in
know.
there.
In the
Covered.
teens.
Or just
I'm
Google
guessing
it
it's
and watch
between-
someone else's review of it.
Yeah. I'm guessing it's between 10 and 20. That's my guess.
Yeah, that's
When
only
we
10
talked about
hours
it.
of listening, or you
Yeah,
can skip
probably
to
like
that.
20. Those early episodes.
Oh,
Are
Those
right.
early episodes are long.
I mean, they're
Yeah.
all pretty long. Let's be honest.
It's
Yeah.
true.
We just do 2 2-hour episodes instead of 4 1-hour episodes.
Yeah.
We can really get in there.
Yeah. Just save us
Um,
that time.
So I think I'll probably do an episode. Also, thanks, Manuel. Thanks for the input. I'll probably do a segment. I gotta work on this idea, but I'm probably going to do a segment that reviews things like in unconventional ways, like video game or
For as example,
So when I was in my early 20s or something, I was like, I thought this idea was genius. I don't know if it was, but
it
it
still
was
is.
like rate video games based on like how fun they are to like drink and play,
Yeah,
right?
I love
And
this
maybe
idea.
drink with friends and play or something, because
Yeah.
some games, I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this on the pod, but just bear with me. Sorry, everyone. Some games you can just like hold the joystick down to travel and like sip your beer or eat your pizza or whatever you're doing. Some of them you have to like be super engaged with both hands, even while doing nothing. And, so, or by that metric, right? Like, I will not drink beer to play Elden Ring because it's so flippin' difficult, right? My favorite game ever. Not a good game to drink beer and play. So
Totally.
I would review games on this metric, but they're fun to drink beer with.
What
Mortal
I think
Kombat
one of the ones,
versus DC with your friends, great to drink beer and play.
yeah,
Excellent.
one of the
Sometimes it ends up in physical fights.
one of
Go
the
ahead,
ones
Taylor.
I think we talked about most that was pretty great was Diablo 3 for console, because there's a mechanic in that where if one of your party members is going one direction, so let's say you're going a direction, my character will just follow them and I don't have to hold on to the controller. So I can just get up and take a pee and grab us more beers and crack them open, and my character won't get left behind. I'll still be there. So that's like
instead
of
of
the
the
best
front
ones.
character getting stuck because the other characters aren't moving, they'll just drag the other character with them. And
Yeah,
it's great.
it's
So yeah, Taylor's making fish sticks or whatever, and you're like slaughtering hordes of skeletons. Perfect.
yeah, yeah.
Excellent. Not a great game. Too
No.
easy. But
Yeah. Pretty boring.
The best, most fun drinking beer with your friends game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Great. Way to remember that, Taylor. Thank
Dude,
you.
totally, because I think it's a great idea. So yeah, let's do that.
When you mentioned it, the unconventional rating system, I thought you just meant like, out of 16 Skarsgårds, this game is like 10
Yeah,
Skarsgårds. Like,
This is 8 power tools. I give this one 8 power tools.
Is that a good thing or not? I don't
who
know.
knows? There's a lot of Skarsgårds, so who knows? It could be good, could be bad. Maybe there's too many. So it's the right amount. If it's low, it's like you want it in between, because too many Skarsgårds is bad.
And then never tell them out of how many it is,
Yeah.
That's
I give this game 3 chopsticks.
Yeah.
Better than 1, right? Am I right?
Totally. Got an extra in case one breaks. It's perfect. It's the perfect game.
That's so dumb. I love it. All right, next big idea, $1,000,000 idea. Somebody else say something.
Oh, I don't know. I gotta pull it up.
I thought you had it. Oh, I thought you had it. One of the things I wanted to potentially do, if they ever fucking schedule any sort of big events on the West Coast, uh, or I have time and the want to go to like Indianapolis, is do a vlog style videos where you get to go along with me on the journey, or us, right, on the journey for the kind of bigger events like callings, or maybe even a battle hardened or something like that. And just be honest, like scrubbed out again, went 3-3 with Icelander, like favorite hero, but I suck at playing it, etc. You know what I mean? I mean, it would be more fun to be like cameos from Colin, or yeah, totally. But it would be entertaining. But I just was thinking, like at Worlds, it would have been really fun if shout out to Fives, the taco joint, to like interview us while we're eating freaking cabeza tacos, and Jason Long orders a traditional quesadilla from the spot, or whatever, and just like talk about that. So yeah, I think that those would be fun.
I think you got to be the one to do it because you're the most socially outgoing of us, and
Yeah.
It's hard. I gotta like remember just to take out my phone and like, it's not my first instinct to be like, let me video this. It's like, let me just be here and experience the thing. But
Totally, I'm not that way either.
yeah,
But like, well, a person's YouTube channel who's also into TCGs that I really like is Andrew Mahone from Tricky Jim, who does Pokemon stuff. And some of his Pokemon vlogs, he's got a great personality and is a great person on the internet. But his vlogs I like really enjoyed, and I like, am not a competitive Pokemon player. So yeah, I liked it. I like that stuff.
Nice. Nate will be the cameraman.
Yeah, Netflix
Nice.
documentary. Sweet. Didn't know you had those skills, Nate. All right. You're hired. We can't pay you anything except for friendship, and I'll buy you a beer every once in a while.
and if you're lucky, you get a mustache, right?
From Isaac.
From Isaac. Yeah.
No, I like to keep my work life separate.
We're too close, personally. I can't do that.
I should not drink. Don't be funny while I have liquid in my mouth in front of all of the electronics.
Yeah, everyone
okay?
stop eating and drinking for the duration of this podcast because you might choke. And if
Yeah, should we have that? Should be up
If
for
we're as funny as
too
we
late.
think
We're
we
an hour
are,
15
you're
in.
in trouble.
Yeah. They're dead already. That's why there's only like 10 people here.
content warning, you might choke to death while watching this. I think we're fine.
All right. What's next?
What is next? I mean, overall, I think deck techs. Let's do more deck techs, guys. Actually, as a small tangent, I had this idea, and I keep forgetting
Awesome.
about it, so I'm going to bring it
Wanna
up
hear
now
it.
before I forget about it.
Good.
And this is basically a ripoff of another great podcast, and like all good ideas, you should just steal them from other places. But
Totally.
been listening to a lot of Get Played, and they do a segment called We Play You Play, where they're like, we're gonna play this game this month, and then at the end of the month we're gonna like talk about it. And my idea was like, it was more like a we build, you build, and like we pick like a hero or like a theme or like a hero and a theme, and like build a deck. Either like together we start with one deck and then we kind of like iterate separately, or something along these lines. It's like either we start with one deck and we kind of iterate separately, or we all build separately and then kind of play and then come back. and be like, well, this is where my deck ended up, and this is what I learned. And I don't know. And then people can do that with us, and we can all like chat about like, oh,
Great
like I
idea.
thought these cards were cool. And I think, with Talishar, it's very easy now to like
Yeah,
play and explore other heroes without having to have the actual cards. And I just thought it'd be cool to like, explore some new stuff and kind of break out of our more traditional roles and focuses, which, I think on one hand I should probably focus more on just one hero, but at the same time I'm like, let's like break out and like,
I love it.
do some other things. So that was one idea that I had the other day, probably in the shower when
Sold.
I was thinking about this.
Sold.
It's a
Done.
game. You should have
We're
fun.
we're doing
Play
it.
what you want.
We're doing that.
No,
Love
Isaac,
it.
you have
Yeah.
to play what I say. We all play the same thing together. That's the
Yeah,
point.
that is a good idea. I'm into it.
It's not about fun. No, I'm just kidding. It should be fun. But I don't know.
I'm into
It
it.
was like kind of
Good
like,
idea.
and we keep it small. We don't have to be like spend a whole month doing it, but like, just dabble in something and explore it and kind of share our thoughts, just because I think we're only going to get more and more heroes, and it's just going to get harder and harder to really
Yeah.
know them all. Especially like outside of like new draftable characters. So yeah, I just thought it'd be like a fun way to kind of like go back into some other things that we may have never really delved into, and just round out our general knowledge in some other areas.
Totally. Yeah, I would love that, especially because of the audience engagement that involves too. Is part of that segment on Get Played is they read, they call it the Ryu crew, right? Is that what it is? Yeah. Uh, the comments everybody had about the game that they played that month and that sort of thing. So that would be great. Is that part of that segment would be you're like, well, my Data Doll Transformer deck turned out this way, says Devin. Also, hi Devin, what up? Glad you're here. So that would be also, I think, a really fun part of it. So I'm into it. Done. Sold. Who's keeping notes? Who's keeping track of all of the stuff we're green lighting?
Unlike normal meetings.
This one's been recorded, so we can just go back.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
But yeah, where I started was deck techs. I think, from an analytics point of view, deck techs are performing quite well this quarter, so we should increase them 700%.
They're the hardest to make.
I know. That's
Especially for us, because they're always like our babies.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like Arsenal Pass is just like, I don't know, we put some cards together, and we fucking won a thing. So here you go.
So all
The
we
Here's
little
do is
Rhino
start
Ride.
winning some
Here's a
games.
Rhino list.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I mean that's obviously a thing. That's why this idea came up. It was like, oh well, this gives us an opportunity to like make a new deck that might we could then turn into like a deck tech as well. But that's the hard part. I don't know. I don't have a deck that's good to share with anybody, so I'm just relying on you guys being good, or at least better than me.
I have a deck or two, at least one deck that I would do a deck tech on.
Nice. What is it?
Waning Moon Kano.
Ooh, Wayno.
I love that deck.
I really want to see you play some Kano, because I feel like you've been diving deep into the arcane arts.
I know. I'm at this weird place where it's like, I think maybe. So if you're on Crucible, you get all the good hit effects like Spindle and Sonic Boom and stuff. If you run Waning Moon, you get to like, I don't know, kind of deal more damage or the same damage or just be more flexible. And I kind of like it better, but I don't really know if it's better. You can do really cheeky things though, where you like play Tome of Aetherwind from Arsenal, like no cards, right? Blocked out. Play that. You draw a blue and a red, pitch the blue to Waning Moon and Arsenal the red. With Crucible, you don't get to do shit,
Yeah, in that scenario,
like,
you just like you normally would just pass, right? and hope to
Yeah, or
draw
you
two
you
blues.
play it. If you get 2 blues, then you can Kano and play the blue you found. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or if you like Toma Findal, you can just Waning Moon off of it, then block with the cards you draw if it didn't work out. There's like a whole bunch of things that it kind of opens up. Um, Also on your combo turn, your whole deck cost curve is way lower. So
Mm,
killing them in creative ways is easier just because everything costs 1 or 0.
right.
Um,
Yeah, you
but
don't
again,
hit the like 2 cost thing off the top and you're like, shit,
yeah.
I only have 1 resource floating. Yeah.
Also, Blazing Aether is like better. It's like more important than Wildfire, or because you can like Waning Moon and then your Blazing procs off of that, as well in that combo turn. So it feels a little more flexible that way. But again, you miss out on like Crucible, Aether Spindle, things like that, which are
Mhm.
very good. So, but I've thought of all kinds of things like what's that 1 cost ward card, like Sigil. If you hit that off the top, you can
Protection.
just play it and Waning Moon. I haven't tried that. Nobody tried that. It's probably bad. But like Waning Moon works off of any non-attack action. So the sky's
Right.
kind of the limit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the
That sounds
Sorry.
like something that belongs
There you go.
in the Jank channel.
It does.
Shout out
I
to the Discord.
I think I've won as much with that as with the regular Kano deck. But
Nice. Yeah,
anyway,
I'd
sorry.
love to
There's
see
the
that.
deck there. I just did it right now. It's done.
How many blues are in the deck? Come on, you didn't even give me any information.
I didn't
Ratios,
eat
bro.
dinner and then I had this cocktail, so you brought it up and now I just spilled all the beans. 0 views coming up.
That's what we'll just title this episode is Secret Kano Deck Tech. You know.
Jump
And they'll have to
1
watch for
hour
an
and 30
hour
minutes.
25 minutes. Yeah. Yeah.
To get the 30-second nugget that you know. That you need. The truth is.
That's
in
why
there,
you
you'll
listen.
find it.
That's why you listen to the cast, those for those little nugs.
It's our current, viewer base. It very much knows what they're getting into.
Mm-hmm.
They do.
They do. Something I was thinking about is so I did my Icelander challenge where I became one with Icelander, which went pretty well. Michael Hamilton kind of soured the journey I was on, which was a little unfortunate. It really cut my time frame down by 6 months or something like that. So it kind of petered out. I do want to do my cool Icelander collection video, which I will do soon. I just haven't had the time, because I have a lot of cool Icelander cards that I would like to show off to everybody. But I was wondering, and this goes to both you as my hosts and the chat, is if I should try to do another just like hard pivot to a character challenge again, because I'm like kind of lost as like who am I? You know what I mean? I just feel like now I'm a Michael Hamilton imposter because he's the master of Icelander. And I don't know. I don't have any backups or etc. So I'm open for suggestions. Whether that is just like stay the course. You're a one trick pony now. You're B tier Icelander player. So which is fine with me as well. So whatever anybody's thoughts are on all of that. Also, shout out to Nate here who says we should just do one live game of Risk every year. And I think that is hilarious, but I also vote no because Risk is bad.
It would have to be Risk Legacy, my favorite board game ever. We could do that once a year annually and for the next 15 years. And then we'd all have to be together, but then we could air that. But it just solves the risk, right? Like if you still have your headquarters and have captured 1 or 2, you win the game. So in all the ways Risk is bad, it doesn't you know, anyway. It's a very exciting game. They fixed all the bad parts. It's like excellent. And I would be into that. Taylor doesn't believe me and thinks it's bad, but
I would try
That's
it,
been
but I would
I
also
vote
board
be,
game
yes.
from the closet with Isaac.
I would rather like be like, why don't we just play Twilight Imperium and just have a party? I mean, what other game
Yeah.
are you like, I'm going to go into your system, invade your shit, and then we're going to vote on a law that we're going to put into effect that changes the rules of the game? It's just, and then the other guy's just like, I'm over here just building shit and winning silently. It's great.
Yeah, that would be my vote also.
I love that game. I need to play it again soon. But yeah, I would play.
Isn't that like that's like a 10-hour game, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's a game
Nice.
I played it with some friends for the first time when I got it. We were 4 hours in, and I swear we were only like 45 to an hour in. I was having such a good time. I was like, what time is it? I was like, holy shit, we've been doing this for 4 hours, and like I feel great, and I'm very excited to keep going.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a slumber party weekend game.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
And my bachelor party, it took 2 days, and we lost somebody in the process because they were done.
Totally fair. It's too long for some people. Okay, back to my Icelander conundrum. What do I do?
All right.
So
I
Nate says, "Oh,
was gonna say I like what Nate said. You got it.
Nate says stay the course until it hits Living Legend, then go back to Viscerai." I would say, I would just ask first, like, which hero or play style, like, which flavor of hero separately, and which play style do you find like the most intriguing? You know what I mean?
Icelander
Right,
and
but
Viscerai.
then go back to Viscerai.
I feel like I could just pivot to Oldhim and just be like, I just be like one of those people who shows up and it's like, yeah, I just play Guardian, and they do like pretty good in every meta. You know what I mean? Because Guardian's just pretty good,
Yeah.
and that seems like a relaxing time.
Yeah, Oldham's great. You get Channel Lake Frigid and Guardian,
Yeah,
Oldhim is fun to play. Bravo's not too bad either. I do that when I'm like, I just want to play a game where I just like pitch cards and swing my hammer and like,
yeah,
block out a bunch and just don't worry so much about things.
yeah, totally.
Like I don't need all
Taylor-
these cards. I just need a couple of them.
Taylor, you have told me multiple times, like, it started out as like, yeah, my secret guilty pleasure is like just playing Oldhim or
Yeah,
whatever,
it's great.
and it's,
I think
you always have like a side brewed Oldhim deck, of like some
I
kind
do.
of like
It's always
aggro
sleeved
ice
up.
Hold'em or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
Maybe Oldhim. I mean,
Why not?
Dude. Why not both? Icelander and Oldhim.
You go Ice Heroes only. Nate's got all the ideas right now. He says new hero shows up in Outsiders and completely solves the problem. Yeah, that's true. But what if they suck? What if they're lame?
What
You
if there's
know?
only 3? Maybe there'll be 4 this time.
Could be 5. There could be just 1.
Nate, everybody has pummel, okay? It's a
Yeah,
generic.
get out of here. Yeah.
Everyone
Pummel
should just run
Azalea.
pummel in every deck. That should just be what we do. Yeah, I feel you. I'm still interested in getting down with Arachne, but I'm also hearing from others that he's just like pretty fair and doesn't have that many great matchups and probably has maybe one too many bad matchups, but I'm interested in going down there. I'm also curious about where Viscerai's at with these new cards, if they actually did anything or if they're mostly exist in some other world that we're not privy to. And then I also
Really, what's the
kinda just wanna
new-
play Rhinar again.
What's the new Majestic attack he got? Um, it's a
The
yellow, 3 for 6.
When
Mm,
it hits, they discard a card and you draw a
y-
card.
yeah, cryptic something.
But you have to discard an attack and a non-attack.
Yeah, you have to pitch both. Yeah. My hot take on that card is it's the new Blossoming Spellblade. Cool, but unplayable.
Yeah, it's pretty specific.
Yeah.
And unlike Oldham, if you arsenal a pummel trying to line that play up, you really suffer for it. You know, you can't
Yeah.
just like seeds it away like, oh, it didn't line up. Oh, well, see
Yeah,
you second cycle.
totally. It feels like Viserai could be a pummel deck though, because he has
Cryptic
so many
Crossing is the one.
cryptic crossing, cryptocurrency. Got it. Um, is that Viserai could be a pummel deck, but he lacks that synergy with his weapon. Is the thing that holds him back, um, because he just has so many good 2 cost or 3 cost attacks that you would want to pummel that are
Yeah, it's
potentially
like
free too.
it's
So
like
all you need is 2 resources.
you can swing Rosetta for 5, or you can have to have your tunic up and pummel for 4 and a card. You know, like
Yeah, and get a card. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know, Nate, prove it.
deathly duet. Which one's that one?
That's the one that either gives you rune chance or buffs itself depending on what you pitch. It is good.
Yeah,
It is very good.
I was just being combative. It is good.
Oh,
It's just like
Yeah, did you
another.
finish your cocktail? Is that why?
It's another. Yeah, it's another 2 cost like mauve deathly Rosetta card. You know what I mean?
dude,
Mhm.
Rosetta's gonna be gone soon though.
Yeah.
Briar's at
Then we'll just be
922.
stuck with Reaping Blade.
Let's make the side.
I mean, you could play
Yeah, Dread
Nebula
Sides, baby.
Blade and play all the 1 costs instead of the 2 costs.
Totally. You totally could.
Like it can be Mauve Skies, Consuming Volition, Nebula Blade. You know.
Hmm. Yeah, and you have like Singeing Steel Blade and
Yeah.
Mean
I mean,
Street.
it's like worse, but not really that much worse.
with all the life gain people been doing lately, Reaping Blade might have
Yeah.
a good spot, but it's so fun. I find it very funny of how like people were so upset about Viserai for a while, and then now like really nothing, like
Nobody
nothing
cares.
has changed, and
Yeah.
like nobody cares anymore.
Totally.
I think
That's
it
why all
helped-
of that shit is so annoying. Is just like something else will happen that you all will complain about that we have to all hear about.
Let's not complain about that then.
Well, Scalita got banned. Something did happen.
No, but people were complaining about him after that as well.
Yeah.
I think Icelander helped out.
Yeah. There's another problem.
kinda pushed him
And
out.
it's Icelander and Oldham.
Totally
I
too
still
strong.
complain. So if somebody opens turn 0 with Mob, Shrill, Revel, Rosetta, I'm like, well, great. Just start the game at 32 life or whatever, It just feels bad sometimes,
That's just how it goes. You
Yeah.
probably will still win the game. Maybe. I don't know. So that was a resounding to your question, Taylor.
Totally. It's a personal.
It's
It's
tough
personal.
though,
My
man.
Viserai or Oldham.
I feel you. I honestly do think you should probably just play some Oldham for a while because you do enjoy it. And I think, I can relate to this of like, there's this idea of what you should be doing versus what you actually enjoy doing. And
Mhm.
we should just give into what's fun and we enjoy doing, whether or not it like aligns with it, and the rest will catch up later. But then if you want to go back, you can, but dip in there, get in with the old guy. He's a handsome man, the big beard. Only thing better would be if he
Totally.
just had a mustache. Where are all the mustaches in Flesh and Blood?
Start a Twitter poll.
God. Should our next big hero have a mustache?
There'll be
I'm
like
gonna
a
do that. I'm gonna
swashbuckler
do that.
someday with a mustache,
Yep. Here we
Does
go.
TJ
On
Stotter's pirate have a mustache?
I mean, there's got to be some mustaches in there.
I mean, Bolton's got like the goatee, right?
I don't know.
Just
I'm
silence
on
as we look
Twitter.
it up. No, he's
All
got
right,
a
I'll
full
stop looking
beard.
it up.
Bravo's got a beard. There's a lot of beards, but not a lot of mustache. Imagine if Chain just had a mustache.
That would be not
Speaking
good.
of Taylor, there is going to be a new Shadow Runeblade soon-ish, and that might be your real home.
That's true. Light Illusion is coming back too, baby.
Totally.
Although we don't have Luminaris anymore, so what am I gonna do? Oh no.
I'm sure there will be a weapon catered to the new
But will
the new
everything
illusionist.
have go again, Isaac?
Your 9 war tunes, miraging, and symbiosis.
It's pretty fair deck. All right.
All right. Well, chat, this is your chance. If you want us to do anything in the new year, you got to let us know.
Yeah. Shout us out. Let us know. I saw who said this? Devin asked about is there much content on playstyle or is that somewhat dictated by matchup? And I didn't fully understand it, so I didn't bring it up till now, but I feel like playstyle, I mean, it depends how you define playstyle. To me, that's more like how you like to play your deck. But I guess you could also look at the ways of High Striker. Oh, High Striker does have a mustache.
Not a character though.
Not
I'm
yet.
essentially
hero.
High Striker in person form right now.
You are, yeah. Dude,
I put the Twitter poll out there. I did it.
cosplay. What was their Twitter poll?
The old him mustache pull.
It was, should the next hero in Fab have a mustache? Yes or no? And the third option was, it's been too long already.
Well, I voted and it's 100%, and it's been too long already. Let's go.
Wait, shit, what was the topic we were on, Colin?
It was a question about if there's content on playstyle, or if that's dictated by matchup. But I think it depends how you define playstyle, which could be the playstyle of the hero, the way you like to play that hero, or maybe it's both. But I feel like it's kind of like wrapped up in like deck text. So probably the information's there, but it's a little more buried.
I think you could, I mean, so my answer, you could always just boil it down to like past experience probably, but I definitely noticed there's a component of play style in when you get towards the end of the game and you approach lethal, and some players tend to play more not to lose and kind of hope that their opponent bricks, and some players play more to win. Like, this is my window. If I take this chance, I will most likely win. Whereas if I wait for, maybe 3 more turns, it's more likely my opponent will kind of grind me out and then they will most likely win, right? Like, I've in a limited game before, gone to 1 against Briar, risking the Sigil of Suffering, in order to for sure win the game, rather than block more, not win, have to block, and then kind of hope that I find lethal before they do. Like, I would still be at an advantage, but I was just like, there's a few Briars in this pool. I didn't see many sigils. I can for sure win if they don't draw the sigil, right? So I think that actually comes down to my play style or my personality. So that was a bit of a story, but I think that that's an example of play style, kind of. And I notice as I play against other players, like your approach towards that end game scenario kind of differs.
Totally.
Yeah, I think Devin has a good follow-up here that he says there's a lot of variables, and I agree with that also. Because there's like some like Flesh and Blood doesn't fit into the like aggro control mid-range so much. Like even within those, there's such a variety,
Hmm.
and there isn't even really like a true control counter deck. You know what I mean? It's just like fatigue is like the thing we have as close to that, or a
Well,
bunch of
combo.
defense reactions. Yeah, I mean, and even then it's like a gray area. There are some decks that like, like OTK Viscerai, I think was pretty close to just like a singular combo game plan. But then there's also some decks like Kano's a great example that have a combo in them, but isn't the singular game plan. You know what I mean? So, and even with Saber's Bolton, like most of the time you like don't win after you go off. You still have to like play the game. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think it's content on playstyle is tricky because of like all of those things. And
Hmm.
there's like a general guideline you could have. Like if you're a control player or like a mid-range player, like, maybe Dash and Icelander and certain builds of Oldhim are like your your preferred heroes. You know what I mean? Um, so
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of my take on that scenario.
Still wild to me that you can build the same hero in these different ways to like be more in these like kind of
Hmm.
different directions. Um, I wonder if we'll ever figure out like our own terminology for like how Flesh and Blood plays out. Because I mean, I guess the aggro decks are aggro, like, but I think
Yeah.
everything that's not just aggro or not full control, like, you know, kind of gets tossed into the mid range thing, or we just come up with these definitions of like, oh, well, it's like it flex. We I think the way we say it is like it flexes this way, or it's got this
Yeah.
kind of package. Um, that you can kind of sideboard in and out, which like
Hmm.
is like the coolest part of this game, and also the most
Yeah.
nuanced and difficult to really grasp.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so in some ways, all the content is about that. At least ours, all the time.
I
Yeah.
one of my favorite like people on the internet for exercise science. He says the word nuance a lot, so they have a t-shirt. Shout out to Barbell Medicine that just says nuance on it, and I love that t-shirt.
Is this Brendan Patrick's fitness page?
No, it is not.
Oh, well, he says nuance and likes fitness.
Yeah, he
They're
does. He
basically the
also
same
says
person.
fundamentally. He says fundamentally a lot as well.
It's a good word.
Did you have a follow up, Taylor?
It's
Yeah,
based
that
on
was
the
just
word
my little
funda.
Oh,
anecdote.
gotcha. I think since we're uh on this topic, I think aggro is just aggro, right? It's exactly the same. I think where it kind of gets muddled is like control kind of has two meanings sometimes, and like Icelander is a mid-range deck, but it's a control deck by like certain like magic or whatever definitions. And then fatigue is, I mean, rarely will like Oldhim run you totally out of cards. They'll kind of just run you out of threats and then kill you by better pitch stacking or whatever. Um, and yeah, I kind of think Saber's Bolton is kind of the only true combo deck, because other combo decks like Claw's Reiner or Kano are just really flexible, and they can, you know, like Claw's Rhinar can pitch stack and combo the shit out of you, but it's rarely the actual game plan. You're just looking for the combo, right? Or like even aggro decks like Viserai is kind of a combo deck, or Briar, right? I mean, they're kind of moseying along playing their aggro game plan, but then the combo comes along and they combo off. Especially with the old Sonata Skeleta game plan, right? Um, so I think it's just a bit more fluid.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, I feel like I keep saying this, but that's why this game's so good. Sometimes I get that point where like, do I really love this game? And then we talk about it for a while. I'm just like, man, I want to play more right now. Like it's crazy. It's like your deck is built in this way that you just like react to what's going on. You can set up things to like benefit you later. There's just like so many factors you have to like keep track of in a game to really to benefit from that ability at all points. If you're not just playing a straight up aggro deck, that's why I think aggro is always so popular, because it's just like, well, I'm just gonna play my cards, like, and they're gonna be good, and for the most part, I don't have to worry about some shit. But everyone else is just, just out there in the void, feeling
Well, like
things, and
how many aggro decks actually don't have any nuance to them? You know?
I mean, they definitely have nuance.
yeah,
They're just aggro. Like they're going to play out all of their cards for high damage until you stop them.
but there's a range of doing that better or worse.
Right. Like so against Azalea, they might side in 6 defense reactions, or against C and C, they might need more of their blues and maybe need to block 3. I think that's where the nuance comes in. But I think the aggro definition really is spot on.
Yeah, I think for the most part, but it's not. I think the difference between this and some other like aggro decks and other games is like you don't just win that way. You have to make important decisions here and there, and then sequencing is always really important. So you
Yeah.
you get
Is
good at that.
it so I would want to know too, like, so I think we can all agree Phi squarely in the, like, if there's 4 quadrants, he's like as far over in the
Yeah. Red deck
aggro
wins.
realm as possible, but something like Chain is definitely, an aggressive deck, but I don't know. It has so many other elements to it that, um, it's not just a pure aggro deck like Phi is. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I would still, so I would classify it as an aggro deck, just because. Okay, so it's not controlling at all, right? Like it does not
Mm-hmm.
apply many hit effects, right? It doesn't control its opponent's game plan at all. It's not going to fatigue you ever,
Mm-hmm.
right? It will usually only block if you're really trying to hinder it, right? So it's not really that mid range. It is kind of if you force it. So by those definitions, I would say it's an aggro deck. Um, what makes it unique is that it can set up an endgame combo, So maybe it's an aggro deck that can flex to a combo component, but I think it's just like not fatiguing at all, not blocking at all, not applying any hit effects, is just like,
But
to me, kind of streamlines the definition.
so I don't think that's necessarily true. Like those initial turns before you've built up like a reasonable amount of shackles, you like block quite a bit and just kind of, attack, play your non-attack, play an attack, swing your weapon, and any cards that you don't need to just do that, you kind of block with. So you kind of wind up playing a mid-rangey game for the first half of the game until you kind of have a critical mass of shackles to keep your life total high enough to like pivot. So it isn't as like, black and white as it just like its game plan is to like deal you damage and kill you is the win condition. But the way it gets there is like quite a bit, or it was quite a bit different than other quote unquote aggressive decks had been doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I think my argument is partly for like simplicity's sake, because like every deck and every card game is unique to some degree, right? But if you want to classify them, you have to kind of just boil them down into different classifications. And I agree, Chain is unique because it like is an aggro deck, but instead of turns 1, 2, and 3 killing you, it kills you turns 3, 4, and 5. And it can also flex to a combo component. That's definitely true and abnormal for that classification. It's just like, yeah, I don't know. You could probably find outliers from any deck.
Yeah. I mean, I think all of this discussion just illustrates how nuanced the game is in deck building decisions and stuff. And that's why our new segment, We Build, You Build, is going to pop off.
We're going to talk about the nuance together, the weance.
I love it, Colin.
Yeah.
We'll make
so
that.
good.
We'll make that a shirt. It just be like, why is your shirt say
Weance.
wince?
Oh man.
Nice.
Do we have anything more substantial to talk about? Or we've been here for 2 hours. Should we just call it?
I think.
Yep.
I think
I
that was a
think we're
good way to
pretty.
end. It was a nice, thoughtful discussion on just the fundamental elements of Fab. So
I will say I was watching the other day the Carlson versus Nakamura Speed Chess Championship. If you want to give your brain a workout, watch that. It's bananas.
how long is the game?
Just they play mini games.
Oh, okay.
It's just the level of play condensed into such a short time is like really hard for you to read and follow, but I think makes it interesting. So
Nice.
Wait.
I'll check it out. Before I found Fab, I was really into chess during the pandemic. And then,
Nice.
I wasn't good at it, but I played a lot. It's just like Flesh and Blood.
Nuance.
no way, I love chess and I know nothing about current game theory or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just interesting.
I can barely remember openings, but I think it's fun. The best I ever did was when somebody accused me of using like a bot to win a game, and I was like, "Thank you."
Yeah,
I just smoked you, dude. Like,
I am as smart as a computer.
I don't even know how I would use a bot in this like speed chess game I'm playing on my phone. Like, would I have to like enter it into something? I was just like, dude, I just beat you. Just get over it. But salty
Classic
dogs.
Oh,
internet.
Great job.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
Anyway,
guys.
yeah. Thank you everybody who's been with us the whole 2 hours. We really appreciate it. Thank you anybody who's listening after the fact. We appreciate you. This is one of the great joys in my life is to get to spend time with my friends and contribute in a positive way to a community. It's just great. Devin says Collins salty chess logs. Nice.
That's a
I
Christmas
first read
special
that
right there.
as salty chest logs, and I was like, nice. I don't know what that is, but that's
It's
for the
hot.
OnlyFans.
It's on Craigslist. Pay me
Since
to
this
find
is
out.
since this is actually a podcast episode somehow, if you're listening to this after the live recording, shoot us a message. Like comment on YouTube, email us, hit us up on Twitter, whatever. If there's anything you would like to see in the coming year as far as where we put our energy in production, please let us know because we would like to, you know, make what you would like to see and hear.
Hell yeah. At any time. Doesn't have to be soon. We're here.
Yeah,
We're
totally.
here to
2025 projects, pitch them, whatever. We'll just.
Yeah, it's like
opening and closing on its own.
oh, bird dog. That's so funny. Great. Well, thanks everybody. That's been our show.
Thanks, y'all.
We'll see you in the new year. Goodbye.
Bye.